Hey there, this is Paige from Craft World, and today we're going to assemble our pop-up record player card. First, cut out all of your pieces. And then let's take a little bit of time to talk about your options for the messaging. You can either have the Cricut right on the cards, as you're seeing now. You could use vinyl, as we saw in the first example, or you can use the print then cut functionality. Similar to these lid lining examples, you have choices to make for the labels that go on to the middle of the records. So your record label can either be left plain, you can use vinyl, a little out of focus, sorry, but vinyl for some of the messages. There's an example of a pen that has written the message, or again, the print then cut option. Some of these messages are so small, you're about to see one, that your only viable answer for that is to use print then cut. The other options will not work for the tiny messaging. So moving into our card construction, take your back piece and fold it on the score line. Take the front piece and score it as follows. Fold the top down towards you, and then fold the bottom flap away from you. That's the part that has that little rectangle cut out, the slot. And then that bottom tab also gets folded away from you. So your card will begin to look something like this. Fold the sides down away from you. And then fold the tabs that are on the sides of the sides away from you as well. So in toward the middle. You should end up with something that looks about like this. Go ahead and then unfold that piece and lay it flat so we can begin our assembly. We're going to glue the record player base onto the front piece, aligning the two holes that are in both pieces, centering it left to right, getting it all aligned, and then glue that in place. As an aside, I keep all of my tiny pieces in these little paper cartons that I've made. You may find a similar small container helpful. We're going to glue the knobs on in the center of those scribed or drawn lines on our record player base. They each have a little notch on them. You can either align them the same place, or you can make one look as if it's turned up a bit, as I've done here. Next, we're going to assemble the arm base. So there are two accent pieces that get layered on top. Glue those three pieces together first, and then we're going to glue that on to the record player base. Glue the top piece onto the front at the bottom of the record player base as shown. This piece is optional. You don't have to add this top piece. That's why there is a scribed line on the top piece and on the front piece that's below. Now let's begin to assemble our handle. Glue the handle plate onto the handle backing, and then glue that piece within the scribed line on the top piece. Then glue the handle itself into place. I've covered the handle, which is just cut from cardstock. I've covered it with some craft glaze to give it a little dimension and a little shine. You'll see it in a minute. It's the Nuvo craft glaze that I've used in this case. Now glue the record label onto the record into the center, Making sure that the holes line up, it's easier to tell on the back. You can also see I added a piece of extra cardstock on the back of my record to help it lay flat. Now we're going to pull out our metal brads that we're going to use to attach the record. These are small 3mm brads. They are optional, but if you use them, it allows the record and the arm to continue to spin. Feed the brad through the record and then through the hole on your card front, and then pull the two legs of the brad apart on the back to anchor it in place. We're going to attach our tone arm in the same way, feeding the brad through the piece and then through the layered pieces that are on that front piece. Glue the lid lining to the top of the front piece, and a reminder that any messaging on that lid lining is completely optional. You don't have to have a message on there at all. And now we're going to glue the top of that front piece to the back piece. So you're going to apply glue only above the fold on the back of the front piece. Align the front piece with the top of the back and center it left to right. Press it down and then lift up below the fold to double check you have not glued down anything below that first score mark. Now we're going to glue the piece with the handle on it to the back of the card. So fold the handle down, kind of away from that top surface where the record is. And you'll see I've extended the tab that's attached to the handle. And now you're going to fold that back piece on the score line. Once you do that, the piece with the handle on it and the back piece will align, and you can glue the tab to the back piece. Your card is now finished. You have two options for mailing it. You can either mail it with those side flaps extended, as you saw right there, or you can fold the side flaps in and fold the card flat. This is absolutely a little bit fiddly, so have some patience with yourself. Once you get one side folded in and flat to the top, do the other side, hold them both closed at the same time, and then you can fold the card flat. Once you've got it successfully folded flat, either with the sides out or in, you can then insert the tab just above the handle. Do it very gently, and it will help keep the card closed. Once your recipient receives the card with your included instructions, this is how they will open the card and pull out the sides. These small bottom tabs on the side pieces insert into the slots on the back piece. They'll snap into place once they're aligned. If you don't want to include the instructions as I've written them, you can simply write on the inside of both of those side pieces, telling them to fold those flaps down. The final step is to add a hanging loop, if you wish. I include it already tied inside my cards. So your recipient then just feeds the loop through the top hole in the card, and then loops the knotted side through that loop you've just fed through the card. Once that's done, pull on the knot, it pulls tight, and you've got your hanging loop ready to hang. That's it, you're all done. Your card is ready to send. Well done. If you have any questions, as always, you can reach me at craftworld.com. Thank you for watching.